morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys? Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, good morning. Good afternoon. Wherever you are. Wherever you are, good morning. Good morning, everybody watching me. Mhm. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. One. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. I'm gonna be quick today. Identify yourself, please. Wherever you're watching from, can you tell me where you're watching from? Good morning. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me where you're watching from. Okay. I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna go straight. And those that come late will have to watch it on the video. All right. I'm not gonna wait. Oh, Stanley, how are you? How are you? You're welcome to the program today. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna wait for anybody that comes. Later, we'll have to go and watch the program on the video. Stanley, are you seeing what? Can you tell me? Are you seeing what I write on the board, Stanley? Can you tell me if you see what I write on the board? Can somebody tell me if they see what I write on the board? Okay. All right. I'm gonna go straight to the. Today, there is a video that I posted on my page. Okay. All right. There is a video I posted about how to count carbs. Okay, about the video about the menu. The menu, there's something about the menu that I dropped. Okay, there is a video that I posted on my page about the menu. About the menu. I'm going to change the program today because there's a lot of confusion. Eric, you're welcome. There's a video that I posted on my page about menu. You know, about 2 days or 3 days ago, I posted something like this about the menu. I want all of you to, if you can pull it out, that's what we are going to be discussing today. I'm going to explain that menu because there's a confusion there. People have been getting a lot of messages. So I'm changing the program to this. I need to explain it on the board today. So if you guys can get that menu, and I will explain it very properly today. Okay, that's what I'll be discussing today. It's about the menu. List of it says about what your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. Okay, that's what I'm going to be explaining today on the board. Because there's a lot of confusion there, and I do understand. So that's what I'm going to be discussing. All right. Now, first of all, carbohydrate is measured in gram. Okay, carbohydrate is measured in grams. It's measured in gram. All right. Now, one carb equals to 15 grams. When you want to know how much carbohydrate should I take, just know it's measured in gram. One carb, that is one carbohydrate, is equals to 15 grams. That's one. Now, there is a lot of confusion. Say, oh, why would somebody? I think there was a lady that said, oh, I'm saying that we should consume less carb and more fiber. But on this menu, it's about 200. I don't know how she calculated 200 grams of carbohydrate. I think she, I understand she counted it on the layman's the way she understands it. So I want to break it down. That she's wrong. The calculation she did, the way you count carb is not the way you just sit at home and then 1 + 1 = 2. No. You got to look at the details. You got to look at the details, the wording. The wording is very important. So now, if you understand that one carb is equals to 15 grams and carbohydrate is measured in gram, and I keep telling you guys that when you're a diabetic, you eat less of carb and more fiber. That's why they say less carb, more fiber. Now, I break it down that if you're a female, okay, you are expected to take, if you're a female, okay, you're supposed to consume 3 to 4 carbs serving. If you are a female, you're supposed to take 3 to 4 carbs serving. Listen very well. If you're a female, you're going to take 3 to 4 carb serving. Listen to the word carb serving. Okay? You got to listen to the word. Don't just calculate it at 15 grams. At 15 grams per serving. If you're a female, the amount of carbohydrate you're supposed to consume is between 3 to 4 carbs serving at 15 grams per serving. Now, I'm going to explain it better. When they say you're going to take 3 to 4 carb serving, they are telling you in a day, you're supposed to take 3 or 4 meals. 3 or 4 meals in a day as a female. Carbohydrate at 15 grams per serving. You're supposed to eat 3 to 4 times in a day for female at 15 grams per serving. Remember that word per serving. That means each time you eat your meal, you cannot consume more than 15 grams of carbohydrate. You have to, your food, your meal in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, if you are going to eat 3 to 4 times, make sure you consume your carbohydrate content in that meal supposed to be 15 grams per serving. If you're a female, okay, 3 to 4. Now, male, I'm going to come back to this. I just want to come down and I'll come to this. Now, for a male, if you're a male, you're supposed to consume between 4 to 5 carbs serving. If you're a male, your meal in a day is 4 to 5 times of carbohydrate at 15 grams per serving. So if you are eating 4 to 5 times in a day, the content of your carbohydrate is supposed to be 15 grams per serving. So for instance, I told you guys one carb is equal to 15 grams. Now, if you are going to eat 3 to 4 times, if you add 15 into 4 is 60 grams in a day. They are not telling you that in one meal you should consume 60 grams of carbohydrate in one meal. No, that is why they break it down. If you are going to eat 3 to 4 times in a day, make sure your carbohydrate is 15 grams per serving. Because if you are going to eat 4 times, 15 plus 15 into 4 is 60 grams. They are not telling you to eat 60 grams in one meal. No, they are telling you you're going to eat 3 to 4 times in a day, but make sure your carbohydrate serving is 15 on each meal you are eating. That's what they say, per serving. Now, let me go to this. You guys, if you have this meal on your phone, that menu, I want to go through it now and explain to you guys what it means. Okay, I'm going to clean this off. So I'm going to leave this here as a reminder. Because you guys know that one carb is equal to 15 grams. Now let's go to this. Let's go to this. If you guys look at the breakfast, okay, it gives you. If you guys look at the breakfast on that there, at the end of it, okay, it said total carb is 65 grams of carbohydrate. 65 grams. Listen very well. They are not telling you that you have to consume 65 grams in the morning for breakfast. No. After they say 65 grams, they say about 4 carbs per serving. About 4 carbs. That means 4 times. That is what they say. Say total carb is in this breakfast is 65 grams in this breakfast. But look at what they say, about 4 carbs per serving. If you 65, remember I told you 1 gram is equal to 15. So 15 into 4 is about, there is an estimate, it's about 60. Remember I said 1 carb is equal to 15 grams. And they said in the breakfast is 65 grams, about 4. So this breakfast is for 4 meals. Maybe you prepare a breakfast that you're going to eat 4 times. Maybe you like it, it's okay. Maybe I'm going to eat more at some again. It's okay, I'm going to eat this one now. I'll eat this one later. So that is why they say about 4 carbs. 4 carbs serving. So they are telling you that you are not going to consume 65 grams at a blow. No. 4 times. So you prepare a breakfast, you're going to eat 4 different times. So if you take about 1 carb, it's equal to 15 grams, do the mathematics. It's about 60. So roughly, give and take 65. That's the calculation there. So when somebody say, oh, this is about, why would I consume 200 carbs in a day? No. So for instance, if I make a breakfast now, and the total carb is 65. But I told you it's about 4 carb serving. You are going to eat it. It's a 4. This is a 4 meal. But make sure when you are eating it, you are taking 15 grams per serving. If you go to the lunch, if you guys go to the lunch, the total carbs there is 59 grams, the total carbs. But look at what they say, about 4 carbs serving also. So there are some people that prepare, instead of them cooking food all the time, all the time, they prepare a food they're going to eat for 4 days or 2 days and put inside the fridge. But if you look at the total gram is 59 grams, and they tell you this is about 4 carb serving. So that means the lunch here you prepare is for 4 different meals. You're going to eat it 4 different times. And when you are eating it 4 different times, you must make sure you are consuming 15 grams per serving. They are not telling you to consume 59 grams of carbohydrate in your lunch. No, that's why it was specified here about 4 carb serving. So you guys have to listen to the word, to the wording. Stanley, I'm going to answer. When I finish my topic, then I'll answer the question. So I don't want us to distract from this. So if you guys look at the lunch, as I was saying, 59 grams, 4 carb serving. If you multiply 15 grams into 4, it's about 60 grams. So the calculation is right. This lunch is 4 different meals. But when you are consuming your meal, you must make sure you have 15 grams per serving. The same thing applies to the dinner. The dinner is 57 grams, about 4 carb serving. So that is what I say I'm going to explain that menu. Okay? So when they tell you you're going to consume, if I tell you, so, okay, make sure your meal, your lunch for the week is 60 grams of meal. Then you're going to ask me, at what serving is 15 grams? 1 carb is equal to 15 grams. And if you look at those meals that I posted, they give you the total carbs for that, but at the same they tell you how many times you have to consume it. 4. So if you, in the morning when you're taking your breakfast, you take a portion and make sure you have 15 grams per serving on it. Anytime you're going to eat, you have to. That's why the diabetes is all about. When you are diabetic now, you don't eat as you used to eat before. That's why I say it's about basics, understanding the basics. Everything is rationing. You have to ration. You have to eat in smaller quantity because, as I said, there's no even fruit has carbohydrate. So diabetics are all about telling you guys that the way you are eating before, everything that comes, you are eating because your pancreas is working. Is controlling the sugar in your blood. But now you don't have your pancreas is not functioning. So you have to control it manually. So that's why they advise you, consume less carb. Consume less carb. So diabetes is all about when you're eating your food, it's going to be in a smaller proportion. You don't eat as that big again. No. Because that food you are eating contains carbohydrate. Okay, that is why you have to eat it in a smaller portion. That is why they tell you per serving. So anything you are eating, per serving. From my own experience, okay, every 4 or 5 hours, I have to find something to eat because your blood sugar always fluctuates. Every 4 to 5 hours, I have to get something to eat, to boost up to make sure that my sugar level still remains normal. Not unlike before, when you are not a diabetic, that you can eat one meal and you can go for a longer day without eating again. But once you're diabetic, you see that within 4 or 5 hours again, you start feeling to eat. That is why they made it 4 per serving at 15 grams per serving. So if you understand that 1 carb is equal to 15 grams, so anytime you are serving your food, make sure you have 15 grams. And then that is why I gave you guys a sample of something like this. Okay? On one of the videos I posted, that this is how your dish plate is supposed to be when you are serving your food. You make sure that whatever that is on the whole grain, anything that is going to be here in this grain, anything that is going to be on this portion is supposed to be 15 grams of carbohydrate. It can't go above 15 grams. That's why they say less carb, more of fiber. Everything here is good, but anything that is going to be on this green side is supposed to be 15 grams. So when somebody say, oh, I look at this menu, it's about 200 grams. Nobody's telling you to consume 200 grams of food in a day. Because if you take 15 grams of breakfast, 15 grams in the lunch, and 15 grams at night, it's not 200 grams, it's not 200 grams you're consuming. But because lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, they are not looking at, you have to look at the wording. But you have to understand that it is not 200 grams you are consuming. Because they told you this section is 59 grams of here, but look at the per serving. It's 4 times. The portion is, that meal is 4 times. So anytime you are serving your food, you're going to eat it 4 different times. You make sure you have 15 grams on it. That is how you count your carbs. Okay? Now, consumption of carbohydrate depends on different factors. The amount of carbohydrate that I might eat might be different from the amount of carbohydrate that you might want to eat. Or a lady. So there are different factors that comes into play to determine how much carbohydrate do I need to consume, or does she need to consume? And I've told you guys there are 4 different things, there are 4 different factors that determines amount of carbohydrate each person consumes. Okay? One is the factors. The factors, one is physical activity. Please, if you guys cannot see what I'm writing, let me know. The number 1 thing is physical activity will determine amount of carbohydrate you consume. That is 1, physical activity. Okay, the person that is physically active, an athlete, someone that goes to the gym or run all the time, okay, the amount, because they are burning a lot of energy, a lot of calories, they will require more carbohydrate than you that is sitting at home. Because they're athletes. They will eat more, they will require more carbohydrate than you that is not physically active. Okay? And then the number 2 of it is age. Age will determine the amount of carbohydrate you eat. Somebody that is 60, 70, 80, and a child or an adolescent will not eat the same amount of carbohydrate. Because of older age, okay? Because of older age, the immune system is down, he will need more carbohydrate in order to have more energy because he's weak. So 1 is physical activity, 2 is age, and then 3 is your weight. Your weight determines also amount of carbs you are going to consume. Somebody that is obese, somebody that is too fat, requires less carbohydrate than someone that is slim. Because you are obese, you have a lot of fat in your body. You don't need more, you have to eat less carbohydrate to shed off those weight than someone that is slim. And then number 4 is your medical drugs. The drugs you take, your medication will determine, your medications will determine also the amount of carbohydrate. There's some food, there's some medication that you take. Okay, you need more, you need, that's why sometimes they tell you, make sure you eat food before you take the drug, because those drugs are so powerful. If you don't have enough food in your belly, it's going to cause you a lot of problems. So the kind of medication you take that requires energy and food will determine if you need more carbohydrate to withstand the power of that drug. So these are the 4 factors that determines the amount of carbohydrate you take. 1 is your physical activity, 2 is your age, 3 is your weight. If you're obese, too fat, someone that is big need less carbohydrate than someone that is slim. Then your drugs, medications will determine if you need more carbohydrate to withstand the power of that drug or not. So these are the 4 factors that determines. I don't know, do you guys understand the explanation I made? I want somebody to respond. Do you guys understand the explanation I made about the menu that I posted? Do you guys understand this now? Can somebody let me know if I need to re-explain again? Do you guys understand my explanation? Somebody asked me a question. Last week on Sunday, I had a chest pain on my lower left side. I did not know what I mean. All the indicator that I had. I was in remote. I need to know, do you guys understand what I explained? I'm trying to read the question here. Look, I'm in a remote area, so accessing hospital not possible. So I had to make a decision. It's been in the car, so I took 4 tablets and later, but it's made it clear. Now the problem is my sugar level is going as high as 10, which was not the case before, as I used to. Yes, Stanley, on your question, I'm just reading some Stanley's question. I need someone to let me know, do you guys understand what I explained before I move forward? I'm going to clean up this. Okay, I'm trying to respond to Stanley's question. Yeah, see. All right, Stanley. Stanley, you had a chest pain on your lower left side. I've told you guys, maybe you have something they call angina. Okay, angina. But if I were you, I've stressed it before. I'm answering Stanley's question. Anytime your heart is here on the left-hand side here, this is where your heart is. Your heart is not on the right-hand side. Your heart is here on the left-hand side. So anytime you are having pain, any part on your chest here, I stressed it before, anytime you are having pain on your left-hand side here, rush to the hospital to go and see a doctor. This side of pain is not something you play with. It could be a sign of something that's going to be serious. It could be a sign of heart attack. It could be a sign of stroke. It could be a sign of blood, clotting in your arteries. Nobody knows. But anytime you are having a pain on here, this is where your heart is. I advise you guys to leave whatever you are doing and then go to the hospital and see a doctor and check it out. They do something they call an ECG test on you to see how your heart is doing. Okay, they call it ECG test. Anytime, Stanley, you experience that problem, do not play with it. Even taking any drug to mitigate it is dangerous. If I were you and I'm in a remote area, I will start finding my way. I will start finding my way to the hospital. Okay, because anything here and you're having pain, it might, even if it is minor, that minor is a symptom that's something that might lead to catastrophic disease or danger to your life. So if you are having pain in your left-hand side here, anywhere you are, look for the nearest hospital to check it out. Taking a medication to medicate it and then you are continuing what you are doing is dangerous. With a sign of heart attack, stroke, or something that is going to be deadly. So you took a chance. Now you come back in the city. As soon as you come back to the city, I expect you to head straight to the hospital and see your doctor. That while I was away in the remote area, I was having a pain in my left-hand side here. I took a medication, but I need further investigation to check it out to make sure it's not something serious. So even though the pain subside, I would still advise you go and check it out. The symptom might have come and disappeared, does not mean it has gone. It's a warning sign. And maybe when they come back for the second time, you might not like it. So as you come back to the city, I expect you to go and see your doctor to further investigate why you have that pain, why you are in the remote area, to make sure that it's not something serious. Check your cholesterol, okay? Check your arteries, or do an ECG test. There's something called ECG test on your chest to make sure that your heart is okay. All right. Now, yeah, there are some steroids that can spike your sugar level high. There are some steroids that you might take. Steroids. Yeah, steroids. There are some steroids that you will take that is going to spike your sugar level high. There are some cough syrup. You know, cough. That's why if you're diabetic, okay, avoid cough syrup. If you're a diabetic patient, avoid cough syrup. When you're having cough or running nose, you went to the chemist. You know, you guys in Africa, we call it chemist. Here we call it pharmacy. Avoid cough syrup. Most 80%, or let me call it 80%, or even 90% of most cough syrup contain sugar in it. So if you're diabetic, they keep you away from cough syrup. Look, there are some cough syrup that for diabetic. If you go to a chemist, tell them you're diabetic. Okay, there are some cough syrup. They write it on the bottle there. This is for diabetic patient. It doesn't contain sugar. You might not like the taste, but it's for diabetic people. Most cough syrup contain sugar, and if you take it, it spikes up your sugar level up. Steroid, the same thing. There are steroids that spikes your sugar level up. That is why I keep insisting, or see your doctor. Before you have anything, go back to your doctor to prescribe you if you have another illness, because he or she knows your history. Don't just go and take something and then feel better. It's going to change your sugar level. Cough syrup, for sure, 80% of cough syrup have sugar. If you go to chemist, you are having cough, ask them you're a diabetic, I need a cough syrup for diabetic people. They'll give you a cough syrup that are for diabetic, that doesn't contain sugar in it. So you got to avoid cough syrup, steroids. Yeah, Petronolia, how are you? Okay. So, Stanley, that answers your question. Yeah, if you have hypertension, yeah. Remember, for you to be hypertensive, okay, we are talking about your high blood pressure. Okay, you are talking about your HDL or LDL. Okay, your high blood pressure, your HDL, these two is all about cholesterol. These two is all about cholesterol. Your HDL, your high blood pressure, they all have to do with your diabetic. Okay, yes. If you're hypertensive, they all have to do with your, diabetics. That is why anytime you go to do your blood work, first, when you go to your doctor's office, the first thing he does was check your high blood pressure to make sure your high blood pressure is okay, and then he check your high cholesterol levels to make sure your cholesterol levels are okay. So you're hypertensive, you gotta watch what you eat also. Okay, you gotta watch especially if you are in Africa, we call most of our food, or we take a lot of this saturated oil, all this palm oil. So you gotta check what you eat. You have to balance your diet also. So when if you're hypertensive, yes, you gotta balance your diet. Take your medication. There are some hypertensive patients that they will be on medication for the rest of their life, because you got to take that pill once a day. And there are some hypertensive that if you know you can control it, you're checking your high blood pressure all the time, then you don't need that medication. But there are some people that cannot control their high blood pressure. They have to be on medication for the rest of their life. The same thing with cholesterol. If you cannot control it with exercising and dieting, then they'll put you on a pill for the rest of your life. One pill a day, depending how bad it is.
Sometimes they will give you 2 different cholesterol drugs to control it. So yes, if you're hypertensive, you having cholesterol issue, you got to balance your diet. You have to balance your diet. You fall into that category. You have to balance your diet. So Mango Justice, I've answered your question. All right. So, another question again. I did explain about that video that I posted about the menu, how to calculate your carbs. And I believe that you understood it now. How to calculate your carbs. All right. Okay. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right. Okay, so we'll discuss. You guys know I'll talk about carbs. I've answered some of the questions. Alhaji says burning food burning. Should I answer that question? Alhaji, you say you have a food burning. All right. Food burning. If you have a food burning, that's you're having your Alhaji, you say you have food burning. That's your nerve damage. Anytime you're having that burning sensation in your feet, you are having your nerve damage. I've said that every diabetic patient, even me, I used to have that symptom. Okay? Once you're having that burning sensation under your feet, around your feet, you are having a nerve damage. That means your sugar level is high. At that particular time it's happening, that means your sugar level is high. And what you have to do was to bring down your sugar level. Once your sugar level goes above the normal, it triggers that burning sensation. When your sugar level is normal, Alhaji, I'm answering your question. When your sugar level is normal, you cannot feel that burning sensation because your sugar level is normal. You're not feeling it. But once your sugar level spikes up above that range, you feel that burning sensation. And when you eat any food that spikes up your sugar level fast, like if you eat something that contains too much carbohydrate, it spikes up your sugar level fast, you start feeling that burning sensation. You start feeling that numbness on your feet, like you are numb, and then the burning sensation, the sugar level is high. All you have to do was you stop eating that food, throw it away, and bring down your sugar level. As soon as your sugar level comes down, that burning sensation is going to disappear. Okay? So once you are feeling that burning sensation, it means your sugar level has spikes. There is something that you eat, or there's something that you are doing that is, you're still having it. Okay? So what you're going to do, okay? Excuse me. All right, so what you're going to do, once your sugar level is high, okay, once your sugar level is high, there are several things you're going to do to bring your sugar level down. One is you take a walk. Get up from your couch, go outside, go on your street, walk around your street, take a walk, sweat it out. Just make sure you take a walk, at least 30 minutes walk. Walk around your building to sweat it out. Because when you are doing physical activities, you are bringing down your sugar level. Make sure you take about 30 minutes walk, sweat it out, or you go to, if you have a field, a school in your area, if you go and run that field, or go to the field and be, the athlete, the soccer pitch, just walk around it. Just do something physical to bring down your sugar level. Sweat it out. You see that as soon as you do that physical walking around, come back and you go and take a shower, you see that body sensation is going to disappear because now you've done a lot of physical activities, you burn some calories, the sugar level is going to come down. So that's how you're going to control it. Medically, in terms of drug, I don't think there's any drug for it. Because why I say there's no drug for it is that when I was having that issue, I went to my doctor, complained several times, and he couldn't give me anything. He told me it's my nerve damage, I'm having nerve damage, tell me to go and exercise, that my sugar is high. So there's no particular drug they're going to give you to stop that burning sensation. So that's how I know that there is nothing, there is no drug for it. Because if there is drug, it would have given it to me. So what I did at any time I try to eat something, if I start feeling numb on my feet, I stop eating it. That means it's not good for my body. When I start feeling that burning sensation that is too much, even if it is midnight, I'll get up and I'll start walking around my building. I'll go on the street, I'll make sure I walk for at least 30 minutes, an hour. And when I come back, take a shower, that burning sensation subside. Okay, so that's how you're going to control it. Let me get one document here. Okay. All right, so that's how you're going to control it. The next question. Let me see the next question. Thank you so much. Take cholesterol drugs for the rest of my life and the way I'm looking for. Who asked that question? Stanley, yeah, on your cholesterol. There are people that cannot control their cholesterol. They don't know how to balance their diet. They keep doing what they're doing. Their cholesterol is back and you put them on a medication to control it. If you're able to control yours without medication, that's fine. The same thing with high blood pressure. There are people that cannot control their high blood. Every time their blood pressure is high, you put them on medication. So it depends. Even in diabetics, there are people that don't take drugs in treating that. They control their sugar level through exercising, and they don't be on drugs. So it depends on the individual. Any other question? On YouTube. Okay. So I'm waiting for another question before I go to the next one. Identify yourself where you're watching from, please. Let me know who is watching from. Identify yourself. So I'm going to answer this question on YouTube. Okay. No, Mary. On the lunch, Mary, the total carb there is 59 grams. Okay? And look at what it says on the 59 grams. It says about 4 carbs per serving. Okay? If you look at that on the lunch list there, it says total carbs there is 59 grams. about 4 carb serving. So remember I told you that 1 carb is equal to 15 grams. Okay? Now, on the lunch here, it says total, everything here is 59 grams. Now, it's not telling you to consume the whole 59 grams in the lunch. No. Look at what it says. It says about 4 carb serving. Because you cannot eat 59 grams at a blow. Because you say 59, if you calculate 59 into 4, is 60. 59 into 4 is 60. So that's why they say 4 carb serving. So this food here, this lunch here is 4 meals. So if you're going to eat one now, eat one later, eat one the third one, each of your meal is going to have 15 grams. So that's how we count carbs. Each of your meal, okay, like this dish plate that I put here now, okay, we have vegetable, we have fruit, we have protein. On this side of grain, 15 grams of carb. It can't be more than 15 grams. You have to eat balanced diet. So that is what it's telling. Okay. So if you are going to eat 4, they're telling you you're going to eat 4 different times. Normally, me, I eat about 5 times a day. Every 5 times a day. So I count my carbs. Like I eat 15 in the morning, 15 in the afternoon. But my last meal, I tend to go below 15. Maybe I take about 5 carbs, and because I take about fruits or fruit and salad, you know, to make sure, because I know I've eaten 15. So they prepare it 4 meals. Because as I've told you guys, as a diabetic, every 4 to 5 hours you are going to feel hungry. That is why they prepare this meal for diabetic, 4 different meals at a time, because you are going to eat 4 different times. So each time you are serving your food, you're going to grab 15 grams of carb. Every time you are going to grab your food, you have to have 15 grams of carb in it. It can't be more than 15 grams because you're going to eat 4 different times. And I've said it, okay, if you're a lady, a female, if you're a female, you're expected to eat 3 to 4 carbs in a day. If you're a lady, you're supposed to eat 3 to 4 carbs. That is 3 to 4 meals in a day at 15 grams per serving. So each time you are going to eat, you have to have 15 grams on it. That's what it's telling you. So that's what I'm trying. I changed my listing today to explain it, because somebody told me that, oh, I did my calculation, it's about 200 grams. Why would I ask them to eat 200 grams a day? And I told them they should eat. Then I said, okay, you know, if you don't understand, lack of understanding. So that is why I want to explain it better. If you look at that list that I sent in there, it's going to give you the total carbs and tell you about 4 carb serving. And if you do your mathematics very well, add the 15, 15, 15. You see that it's almost 60 or 65, just random. The difference is not much. Because 1 carb is equal to 15 grams. That is one thing you have to understand as a diabetic, that 1 carb is equal to 15 grams. All right? Thank you, Stanley. Thank you, Stanley. So if you understand how to count carbs, why I'm spending, if you watch for the past how many program video, I'm spending much time on carbs, because dieting is very hard to understand. Dieting is very hard as a diabetic. It's very, very hard. That is the most difficult aspect. The other ones, yes, I can sit down in one place and I can sit down in my chair and talk a little about diabetics. But this one is very hard. Now, another question, somebody, one of my friends from raised that this kind of food is not in Africa. They say these kinds of food are not in Africa, which I agree. Most of this food, they don't even know what it is. Okay? But I just give you guys, but there are certain things I know that you can find on this list that is in Africa. Oat, Africa has oat. We have a lot of oat in Africa. On the milk, the low-fat milk, let me tell you guys the low-fat milk. If you guys go to the market, okay, as a diabetic, look for this milk. This milk that is 0% to 2%. There are milk that is 0 to 2%. That is what you have to look for. There are milk that are 0 to 2% milk. They are low fat milk. They don't have too much sugar in it. Less carbohydrate, less sugar. But make sure it's between 0 and 2% milk. Or in other words, they call them, there's another word for it. They call them skimmed. They call them skimmed milk. skimmed. There's a skimmed milk. Okay? Skimmed milk, avoid it. Or partially skimmed milk. That's one they call it partially skimmed milk. What it means, this milk contains a lot of sugar. Partially skimmed means half. Okay? No, sorry. I made a mistake. Let me correct it. Skimmed milk. Okay? Skim is the same thing, it's falling into this category of 0 to 2%. Okay? It has been skimmed. They are processing, they have removed a lot of sugar in it. Partially skimmed milk means there's 50% sugar, 50% milk. So if you cannot see the milk 0 to 2%, look for milk, they call it skimmed milk. Okay? Don't go for partially skimmed milk, because partially skimmed milk means 50% sugar and 50% less sugar. So it's 50-50. But the skimmed one is that they process it, bring it to the barest minimal, remove all the sugar in it. Okay? So if you go to the shop, look for 0 to 2% milk or skimmed milk. Now, so that's all you can see. It's banana. The banana is there. If you look at the medium banana, they told you how many grams of banana. Okay? It's not the one you go and you open the whole banana, you stand here and finish 2 pieces of banana. No. Just see that's one banana, just one of it. Just that one banana, you can't finish it. You might think, oh, the sugar content in one banana is more than 15 grams of carbs in it. So when they tell you there, maybe they're talking about half of it or less than half of that banana. You gotta take, because banana contains a lot of sugar, it's going to spike it up. Okay, so whole wheat bread. Africa has turkey. Tomato is there. There's a lettuce in Africa. What again? There's brown rice in Africa. There's chicken breast in Africa. There's broccoli in Africa. You see, if you look at on the dinner, they say margarine. You see that margarine is 0. You look for that margarine that is 0. So there are certain things here that you can find in Africa, and there are certain things you cannot find. But this gives you a guideline of the kinds of food you have to eat. It gives you the guideline, the kinds of food you have to eat. So if you are in your living room with your wife and you're on your dining table, you look at that list that I gave you. That gives you an idea the kind of thing when you go to the market you should be looking at. You might not get exact thing like this, but if looking at it, you should to replace it and say, okay, this is okay. Now I know that my one carb is equal to 15 grams. Okay, then I gave you guys this. So when you are serving your wife or your husband or any of your child that is diabetic food, you can use this as a template. You use it as a template. I say, okay, veggie, fruits, protein, fish, and other thing. Your 15 grams of carb here. That gives you an idea. Gone are the days you're diabetic. You go to Africa, you see somebody that is diabetic. They serve him or her food. They bring the plate is going to full of corn meal. When you are swallow cassava meal. They give you a whole food full of cassava meal, and you're diabetic. You finish it. You look in that plate, there's no vegetable, there's nothing. That is carbohydrate you are consuming. Tell me, why wouldn't you be diabetic? Tell me, why wouldn't you have complications? Because in your plate, you are eating a lot of too much carbohydrate. So that gives you an idea of what you should eat when serving your food. That is why I'm spending much time on dieting and explaining this carb, because it's very hard to understand. It takes me time to understand it, And I know it takes you guys time to understand it, but if you understand the basic that 1 carb is equal to 15 grams, okay, now I know 1 carb is equal to 15 grams. And then if I'm a female or a male, I'm going to eat 3 to 4 times in a day. So whatever food I prepare, I'm going to, each time I'm serving my food, I must make sure I take 15 grams of carb. That's how you start counting your carbs. You keep tabs of your carbs. And if you can stay within that limit, you're not going to have that complication. Those burning feet, that person complaining burning feet, if you're having less carb in your food, you're not going to experience it as long as you have a balanced diet in it. Somebody asked me a question. Let me see what the question is all about. Okay. Someone asked me about, who is that person? Oh, Ariella. You asked me about non-dairy. Okay. When they say non-dairy, I have to clean this. That's what I will clean this. All right, so I'm going to answer that question. Okay, yeah, it says skim milk, non-dairy. It depends how you explain it. It depends. I can explain it in different ways. I can classify it as non-dairy or dairy. Okay, now anything that is, we have 2 types of sugar. In terms of classification, we have the added sugar and the dietary sugar. And I've explained to you guys the dietary sugar is the sugar that comes natural. The added sugar is the one you have to avoid. Now the non-dairy, the one you say non-dairy milk. Non-dairy, you see those milk in a tin, in can. They put it in a can. Yeah, those are non-dairy. They are processed milk. They contain a lot of sugar, condensed. A lot of sugar in it. So they are not dairy. They are not. You can't classify them as dairy milk because they are added sugar in it. Skim milk, yes, can fall into non-dairy milk because those skim milk. Let me give you an example. You see those milk you get from a cow. Those ones that you get from a cow, you can classify them as dairy milk because those are natural milk you got from a cow. It's not just processed. Okay, those ones you go, I think there are some part of Africa, I'm trying to remember, I see them, people kneeling, they go to their cow and then they drink the milk. Yes. Those are natural milk. They're never processed. So you classify those as dairy milk. All right, because those are farm milk. You're not taking them to a factory where they mix them, bring this and add that, and those are added sugar in it. So skim milk, yes, you can classify it as, I can classify it as non-dairy milk. Because that skim milk is the one that they have, drained all the sugar out of it. They try to process to remove all the content of sugar and leave a little bit of it. So I'll classify skim milk as part of dairy milk because it depends. It's going to be very hard. I can put it as dairy because it's processed, and I can put it as non-dairy because it's natural. Why I say I can put it as non-dairy is because it's processed. They remove all the milk, the sugar in it. They try to make sure they bring down the amount of sugar in it to 0. But at the end of the day, they will leave about 1 to 0 to 2%. That's why they say they have skimmed it already. They make it to be watery and leave about 0 to 2% of sugar in it. So I can classify it as non-dairy and as a dairy because when it is a dairy, it is natural. It's something you got from a farm. Then when it's called non-dairy, it's something that has been processed. They remove all the milk, all the sugar, water it down to the milk, and they added some element of things inside it to make it a little bit okay. So it depends how you classify it or how you see it. But the skimmed one is, as I explained to you, they've removed most of the sugar out and leave it to a minimum of 0 to 2%. Then the one you see partially skimmed milk, they have 50-50. There's a 50% of sugar in it, and then 50% they remove the sugar, 50% of sugar, and leave 50% sugar in it, which is too high for you. So the skim milk you're asking me, Both, why I say I can classify as dairy, non-dairy and dairy, because one, it is processed. When I say processed, because they remove all the sugar in it. They try to water it down to about 0 to 2%. They go to the cow, get the milk. They go to the cow, bring all the milk, and then ship it to the factory. They start processing to remove all the sugar, and they leave about 0 to 2%. And that's the processing. But it's also a dairy milk because it's come from the farm. So it depends which classification, the way you want to say it. But as long as you understand that, look for 0 to 2% milk. Those ones, they have watered the sugar down to minimal. So what do you use to measure your nutrient? I don't understand that question, Ariola. What do you use to measure your nutrient? How do you measure your nutrient? Okay, I'm going to answer the way I understand that question. I'm going to answer, I don't understand your question, but I'm going to answer the way I understand. When we talk about protein, we know, when I say, give me an example of protein food now, and everybody's going to say fish. Yeah, we all know that fish is protein. So if you're putting fish in your meal, is protein. That's what your body needs. If I say fruit, everybody know about fruit. You cut your apples, your blueberries, you call them, slice them, carrot, cucumber, those things your body need them. But when they say eat fruit, when they say eat protein, does not mean you have to eat everything at once. You got to ration it. That's why they say portion. You got to ration it. Because remember that even that fruit we are eating has carbohydrate in it. So now, that's why if you're going to eat apple, eat one. If you're in the having your lunch or your dinner, eat one apple. One apple is okay for you. Don't go and eat 10 apples sitting down in the dinner table and finish 10 apples. That's too much. One apple on the table is okay. At least you're within that limit. Don't go and finish 5, 6, 7 apples sitting on the dinner table. That is not it. You are going above what you're required to do. Fish, you can eat as much as fish because fish is protein. Your body needs it. You are replacing fish with meat. You are avoiding meat and you are putting fish. Yes, your body needs it. Vegetables, your broccolis, your cauliflowers, all this spinach, your tomatoes, your onions, you need it in your food. Okay, they are more rich. They are rich in fiber. They contain minimal carbohydrate. They are rich in fiber. But where they keep telling you to force your attention as a diabetic is your carbohydrate. That is why any diabetic, any doctor you go, they'll tell you, all they're going to tell you, carbohydrate, carbohydrate, carbohydrate. You have to less your intake of carbohydrate, but that is what is causing a lot of damages. You see, you are treating somebody with medication, but when they go home, they keep consuming a lot of carbohydrate. So where you're going to be focusing is counting your carb on carbohydrate. Go to any doctor, go to any hospital, they're going to ask you, are you counting your carbs? How much amount of carbs you're eating? Because that is what is causing a lot of damages. That most people, their blood pressure, their sugar content goes high. You drink your medication now, and the next thing you want is serving you corn meal, semolina on the table. You finish it, and then you're rushing to the washroom to pee. You pee again, you go back after 2 seconds, you pee. You go again after 2 seconds, you pee. So what the hell is going on? Is that carbohydrate? Okay. I'm not going to be much online today because I'm going to cut it short because a lot of people are complaining that I should make it less because you guys don't have a lot of data to watch. So I'm going to keep it to about 30 minutes every time I'm going to be live. So you guys don't spend too much money burning your data. You don't have too much data to watch. So I'm not going to make in that 1 hour video anymore. So I'm going to try to keep it within 30 minutes. So if you guys, anybody has question, you can have, because we've been here for over an hour now, this 1 hour, an hour now. So if you have any question, ask me before we go. So you guys understand what I said? Let me repeat one more time the final thing. I said there are 4 factors that determine what carbohydrate you take. There are 4 factors that determine how amount of carbohydrate you take. Let me just go in summary. If you are a female, I've said it several times, you're supposed to eat 3 to 4 carb serving at 15 per serving a day. If you are a male, you're supposed to consume 4 to 5 carb serving at 15 grams per serving per day. Now, there are 4 factors that determines amount of carb each person determine. And I've said one is the physical activity. Physical activity determines your physical activity is 1. 2 is your age, determine amount of carb you take. 3 is your weight. Somebody that is obese, that has too much fat, need less carb than somebody that is slim. Then the medication you are taking also determine the amount of carb you consume. So it varies. The amount of carb that I will take might be different from the amount of carb she will take or he will take. So everything varies. If you are physically active, if you are an athlete that goes to the gym all the time, you do a lot of exercises, you run, you do a physical demanding work, you need more carb because you are burning a lot of calories, also you need more carb to replace them back. Then remember that as you are taking those carbs, it's going to spike your sugar level up. All right. So your age also determine, do I need more carb or less carb? An elderly man need more carb than a younger person. Because when you're more elderly, you are weak, you need energy. So you need a lot more carb than somebody that is young in their early age. All right. Obese. If you are too fat, okay. If you are too fat like me, people say if you are too fat like me, all right, then I need less carb than someone that is slim. All right. So these are the 4 factors that determine the amount of carbs you take. Okay. So the most important thing is know 1 carb is equal to 15 grams, and then you can do the rest and break it down. So okay, now I know there is 1 gram is equal to 15 grams, so I have to make sure that I have 15 grams of carbs on my food. Then when you are serving your food, I've told you guys, I'm going to go and get you guys something. How, in Africa, how you got to measure. Just hold on. I'm going to step out of the camera. I'm going to bring something and show you guys. All right. If you're a woman and you're going to serve, you see, this is your soup, this thing. If you're preparing soup in Africa, because I know most of you, somebody asked me that, how do I measure my carb? If your husband have to eat meal, if you say meal that you have to, I know Africa, they say, oh, if you give me this, give me that. I need my corn meal. I have to go to the farm. I don't like this type of food. Can you give me my usual food? If your husband or your wife or your son that is diabetic insist that they want to eat swallow, like your cornmeal, whatever, depending on which country, I don't know what do you guys call it. Where in Africa, where I come from, we call it a pounded yam, fufu. So if your husband say, okay, he wants to eat, you see the size of this? When you make that semolina or whatever you want to make, you see this, you cut it, whatever amount of a gram, that's it. It's okay, you cut, that's how you measure it. Okay. There's a reason why companies put this size. There's a reason why they make this thing. This thing has a number of size. There's a reason. They don't just go to the factory and just produce it. There's a reason why they make it this way. So whatever you grab here fit into what you are required. So you use this to measure, it's okay. You just cut it and put in that plate, and that is it. Don't go 2 times. Don't go 2 times. You cut whatever, you drink it out and put that place, that's what he's going to eat at that time. If he wants to eat again, tell him wait. Then from that, when he finished, count another 4 or 5 hours. And then cut another one and give him. If he wants to eat it, but you cannot cut this 2 times. You cut the pounded yam and give no. It has to be once. It has to be once. So whatever you grab on here, fit into this. And you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. Don't say, okay, I'm not here. The doctor is not here. You cut again, you give me, cut again, you give me. You are killing your husband, you are killing your wife, because you are the one who's going to be crying when he's gone. You got to be disciplined. One is one, and that is it. So diabetes, you have to be disciplined to achieve your goal. If you are cheating yourself, thinking because the doctor is not living with you at home, you go, you do whatever you're doing. At the end of the day, you are the one who's going to be crying, not the doctor. So you're going to be disciplined to control your carb intakes. And once you can do that, then you'll be okay. All right. So I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you guys now. I'm done for the day. You guys, if there's any question, then you guys can send me a message. Then I can answer back. So this is 1 hour, 20 minutes now. I wanted to make it 30 minutes so that you guys don't burn your data watching this, because they told me I should make it a little bit smaller because of the in Africa using data to watch this. So I'm trying to make it smaller. So I'm going to leave you guys now, and then since there's no any other question, I'm going to thank you guys for watching, for being with me today, and I'm going to see you guys next time in another topic. All right. Goodbye. Bye-bye.